When God gave the nations, the church, he gave that nation the answer to their problems. Because God's kingdom is not just a spiritual place. What you don't know is that God's kingdom is a country. There's power in knowledge. There's power in information. There's power in knowing something. If you know what has been written concerning health, it is easy to claim healing. If you know what has been written concerning finance, it is easy to claim wealth. If you know what has been written concerning business, there are words in the scriptures that have...
You're onto a life transforming experience as Pastor Prince Abel brings you God's word with deep insight and power. God bless you.
I'll take you on the next course very quickly. Starting your own business. Very important, because that's the way out of this whole stuff. It's an unfortunate thing to go to school, graduate, and depend on the government for everything you need. Another unfortunate thing is to go to school thinking that after school somebody owes you a better life. You must understand that school is a process. It's not a destination. It's a process. The earlier you begin to chart a course for your financial independence, the better for you. You know, recently I'm beginning to think more critically than I ever thought before. Just like we're talking during the interactive session before the first course came up. One of the things I'm beginning to ask is, what's the purpose of this 4 years thing we went to school? And, you know, after 4 years, you're starting your life all over again. It's something I want to start teaching my younger siblings. You know how life can be so unbearable, sir, when you have younger people who are all dependent on you. Do you have younger ones who look up to you for their everyday need? You know why the Western world tend to do better than us? It's because they have a system that helps everybody strive towards self-reliance. So if you go to countries like America, a country of father, mother, and children, maybe 3 children, inside that house there's a system that encourages the children to strive towards self-reliance. So you hardly have a family of father, mother, and children where everybody's dependent on the father or the mother. The father has something he's doing that enables him to provide for his family, provide for himself. The mother has something she's doing that enables her to provide for the family. The children have something doing that enables them provide for themselves and even provide for the family. Because the system in developed nations is quite a complex system than what we have here. So you're living in a country where you pay for everything. Like in America, if you've ever traveled, like me, who travels a lot. If you've ever gone to, I recall the last time I traveled, that was Moscow. My undergraduate days, went for an international debate. And we were living in a particular neighborhood, more of like an estate. And for 3 weeks we were outside. We didn't experience one blink of light. Like this thing you're seeing like this did not blink for a day. The house where we lived doesn't have a generating plant. The entire neighborhood where we lived for that whole period has not one generating plant. No, we are burning diesel now, right? To have this place cozy. You hardly see it in developed countries. This thing you call generators and all that was invented with Africa in mind. You hardly see it outside. Do you know these listers are used for construction of roads in developed countries? That's what they built them for. And then maybe for gigantic companies that are not within the reach of power supply. That's why they built these things. So if you go to developed countries where they build roads or they are installing something that requires electricity and there's no range that has power supply, they make use of these stuffs. But today we use it as alternative power generating, source in our houses, our businesses, and all that. Not so in developed nations. So if you are in a developed nation like maybe America, South Korea, and all that, where you have to depend where you have to pay for everything, like light. Like I told you when I traveled out. For 3 weeks I was out. We did not have one blink in power supply. And then you have to pay per use. For every time your bulb comes on, your prepaid meter is reading. For every time you turn on your gasoline, your prepaid meter is reading. For every time you turn your shower, of course, steady water. It's not this well system we run here. Steady water. For every time you turn it on, you pay for it. The problem with Africa is recklessness. There you are taught management. I mean, because of the way the system is set, whether you go to school to learn management or not, you just have to learn management. It's not here you leave your fridge on and just go away. There, you know that if you're not in the house, your fridge must be off, your bulb must be off, your AC must be off. You leave them on, you are going to pay for it. So this is why you open the shower and just let it waste here in Nigeria. There, you pay per drop of water. Hello? So now the individuals in these countries are now forced to be responsible. So fathers cannot just give birth to children in their volume. And they just can't give birth to children and allow them to be responsible. They teach them from the house to be responsible, to be prudent, to be financially accountable. So you don't kill one man. But in Nigeria, what do we have? With the aid of telephone calls, with the aid of telephone, every caller is a suspect. Once your relative calls you, you know there's nothing else he's calling you for other than, Uncle, my school fees. Uncle, my house rent. Not so in the States. Because the system encourages productivity. I live in a 3-bedroom apartment currently. Working towards building my duplex. Anytime soon, be ready. Amen. Because the days of house rent for me are over forever. I pay for my house rent yearly. And you have to pay in January. And my house rent is currently above 200K. And you have to pay for NEPA bill. And I have gadgets in my house that makes my meter runs like Usain Bolt. I have a 3-tone AC in my living room. Long, 3 tones. And every time there's light, it must be on to keep the living room cool. I have another AC in my bedroom. I have a refrigerator in my bedroom. We have a refrigerator in the kitchen. And then I have a very big wall screen. Every time they come on, my meter runs like Usain Bolt. And at the end of the month, they bring you big bill. And you have to pay, if not, they disconnect your light. And imagine disconnecting the light of pastor's house. Everyone in the compound will laugh, right? You have to pay your house rent. You have to pay your NEPA bill. What's another one to pay? Sanitation. Environmental. Right? What's another one to pay? Which one is maintenance? Maintenance of what? Maintenance of the house. You also pay for, there's this one they call sock away. Eh? Is it, what do you call it? Eswama. The last time they came to, do those sewage, whatever, I think my flat alone paid 4,600 naira. Just my flat. Aside that, you have to feed the people living in the same house with you. Then imagine you're living with a whole barracks, battalion. Like in my house, I have up to 4 persons living with me. You have to take care of them. They have to feed 3 times in a day. It can be frustrating when in that whole house, okay, that's just one. You have to pay school fees. You have to pay the transport fare of the people living with you from one destination to the other. In most cases, you have to buy their clothes. It can be so frustrating when one man is the one bearing all that responsibility. So what I've been doing over time is to study how does it work with other people in other environments. How are they able to thrive? Recently I introduced a policy in my house. He said in this house we'll start taking weekly dues. We'll start doing weekly contributions. I won't be paying the house rent alone. I'll be paying for NEPA bills alone. I'll be paying for the water alone. Because if I keep doing that, I'll discourage you from becoming enterprising. I'll discourage your creativity. I'll discourage your innovation. I wish parents can do that to their children. You're going to school, they will tell you, I will pay you half tuition. I'll give you half of your school fees. Go and get the other half. Our students will start thinking. Because both parents and lecturers combine to kill our creativity. Because you can't. Daddy, we have opened textbook, school fees, house rent, and they carry everything and give you. They have destroyed you. Please, can I be a paradigm shift apostle? Can you allow me to be one? Because I would discourage so many things you have been used to. That's why you're where you are. I wish you can give them half. How much is your school fees? How much is your house rent? How much is your every? Calculate it, 100,000. Okay, I'll give you 50. Go and sort out the other 50. It's not wickedness. It's helping place a demand on your mind to think. Necessity is the mother of invention. I tell you a story. There was a story of a particular group of, a king who had a beautiful daughter, and people wanted to get married to this lady. A lot of people were coming for a hand in marriage, and then the king thought of doing something to find out who was qualified to get married to the daughter, and then he put up a contest. He said, everybody who wants to marry my daughter, you come on faithful day like this in the morning, they're going to swim across my river, and anybody who comes out alive will marry. And they were like, is it swimming? Just swim me. Beg. I can take care of that now. I'm the fastest swimmer in my community. And they gathered that day in their trunks and swimming attires. And the man said to them, before you get into that river, I have to warn you sternly, because you think it's just a river. There are thousands of crocodiles inside. If you come out alive, you'll marry. If you die there, Oyo is your name, on your own. When he gave the announcement, see people who were ready to swim started going back, pushing themselves, going back. Say, no, I can't die, God forbid, not me. While they were still pushing themselves, lo and behold, somebody was already in the water. Crocodiles were after him. He swam and swam and swam and came out on the other side of the water. And the king was hailing him. The girl in question was like, my God, he's such a brave guy. Daddy, I love him. And all his colleagues who were running away from swimming were screaming aloud, hey, you are too much. You are great, man. So you could take such a risk for this girl? My God. Congratulations. The man was still scared, panting. He said, wait. Hold on. Identify yourself. Who pushed me? Who pushed me to that river? So they found out that he found himself in the water during the struggle. When they were all going back, no, it's not me. It's not me. Come now, let me illustrate. You know how that kind of push. No, it's not me. So mistakenly, he was pushed into the water. He didn't fall in intentionally. It was while they were struggling, he mistakenly fell inside. So now he's in the middle of the crisis. That thing that he couldn't do, he did it. His innovation, his abilities, his potentials, his skills, his everything came together. Because he saw himself in the middle of death. You can sit down. He had no other choice than just to be alive. Usually I say it this way: you can never tell what you are capable of doing until you find yourself in the middle of a crisis. I believe the reason why there's a teeming rate of unemployment in this country is because we have built a system that discourages hard work, creativity, innovation, initiative. We make life too comfortable. Isn't that why Nigerians are those high people? We don't complain about anything. It doesn't matter how many Nigerians you kill. We are all right. We don't agitate. Even when we agitate, it's just one whatever that has no constructive framework for pressing home our demands and achieving it. In this country, when a father tells his son, hey, I'll give you half of your school fees, go and get the other half, they think the man is being wicked. No, he's not being wicked. He's not being wicked. That's the kind of father I may be. My pastor told us a story of how in one camp meeting, people were giving, sowing seeds. And he found that his children were not sowing. He went back and he called his children. He said, I saw the people sowing. Why didn't you come out to sow? He said, we're students. We don't have money. He said, you have a hair on your head. How much is it? That is 10,000. You're using the phone. How much is it? That is 25,000. He said, you don't have money to give God. He said, today, all of you, the four of you, you will give God a minimum of 10,000. And he didn't give them the money. Because they've been dashing them money. They are children of a rich man. And money passes through their hands. So what do you do with it? Whenever you start feeling, my daddy has got it. That's why you see most of the children of these rich men, when their fathers die or their parents leave, you see a family that was once rich and wealthy, come back to square zero. Oyedebo said that the way he raised his children is the same way he raised every other person who has grown under him in ministry. He has two sons who are in active ministry in his ministry now. His first son is the resident pastor of the headquarters church in Lagos. He was in London before pastoring. He said he had never treated them concessionally or treated them, what do I use? Separately or distinctly from the way he treats other people. Whatever they need, they submit a budget for it. He has never given them cars to drive lavishly because he has the cars. That's what we do in Nigeria. Politicians' children who are driving cars with green plates when they are not the ones in office. You know, we're encouraging recklessness and irresponsibility. Because your daddy is a millionaire, you spend money, you don't know how it was earned. That they need money, they give you 10K, you lavish it, you don't know how it was earned. When that man goes, you find out you don't have what it takes to sustain what he has. You waste it in bankruptcy and you reduce your life back to square zero. So when people in this part of the world have a feeling that I have a rich uncle, they go to bed. I have a rich father, they go to bed. Creativity is stampeded, innovation stampeded, and all that. So now we want to talk to you about the need for becoming enterprising, because these are part of the things that we have found out is responsible for why our country is the way it is, why Africa is the way it is. We have built a dependency mindset over the years, And that mindset is the reason for the poverty ravaging our continent and ravaging this country. And these are the things you're hardly taught in school. My father said those days when they went to school, you hardly find a student with home theater system. Nowadays, I don't know if it is school we go to now or what, or club. Go to Presco here. Isheke is worse. You see the kind of hostel students are living in now. I get scared. Duplex. Then if you enter their rooms, you wonder, is this a student or a family man? Water foam, plasma, Thermacool fridge, LG AC. You won't find one reading table. Then home theater. Like the place I used to live in those days in school. I used to have an adjacent neighbor. They used to call him Senegal those days. If you see this guy's home theater so long, every time we are back from lecture, the guy will blow the thing. And the whole hostel will be shaking to his foundation. And people those will be dancing. Only me had a different mindset. I will go to him. I was a hostel president. I'll go to him and say, my friend, are you aware this is students' hostel? We are supposed to be reading. We are supposed to be studying. And you are a student. All this home theater you are blowing everywhere. What's the use? That's what we do. Money that we would have gathered together and invest in something enterprising, we use it in frivolities. Because we do not encourage creativity and innovation. Look at what is going on with the BB Niger stuff today. It's becoming one of the most distracting programs available for Nigerians now. Big Brother Niger. I know some of you watch it. Promoting sex and immorality on TV. We don't encourage enterprise. We don't encourage business. We don't encourage thinking. We encourage nudity. So people appear on set and what they are doing is shaking their bum bum. And then people are glued to it and they are watching it and then sending their likes and their comments. Sending their votes. Why won't the nation be poor? Why won't individuals be poor? When was the last time you sat down to think? If I ask you now, what are your ideas? Your ideas for attaining financial freedom in the next 30 years? That no matter the recession that hits Nigeria, in the next 30 years, you are sure of financial stability. What idea do you have? What such idea do you have you're working on? Some of you would hardly show me one. You went to school with dependency mindset, graduated with dependency mindset. Is that not what we have? This job-seeking syndrome, is it not a display of dependency mindset? Because you grew up thinking people owe you something. You went to school thinking people owe you something. Graduated thinking the country owe you something. That's why Abraham Lincoln said, do not ask your country what they should do for you, but rather ask your country what you should do for them. I wish you go to school, those of you who are in school, with a different mindset. While you ask your parents for things, I wish you're creating things also. Before I left school, I was already sending things back to my people. I deliberately did that. I think I'm one of the persons who graduated from the university and didn't return back to my house after graduation. If I tell you I know where my hostel properties are till today, I don't know. I left my hostel and left everything like that inside, started life. I didn't hand over key. I'm a kind of wonderful person. I didn't hand over key to my landlord. Just graduated from school, left hostel. I think where I took off to when I left the university, was it Lagos Daystar Academy? The moment I was graduating, I picked my bag, Lagos, to go and do training. When I came back, I found that they told me They were calling me. They couldn't get me. They had evacuated my things out of the hostel, dropped it at the backyard, and then another person had checked in. I said, it's even better. Okay. I don't know where my rug is. I didn't see it. I don't know where the little TV I had, the little mattress I had. I don't know where they are. Can't give track of it. Left it and went away. The only thing I took with me was my clothes and my books. And the journey started for me. I didn't go back. I never went back to report. Daddy, I'm through from school. See my certificate. There was never anything like that. I said, time for serious work has come. And I journeyed out. We went to school. They are back home. They are in their parents' house. You will never know that they went to school. Somebody read law, 5 years, went to do her law school. 1 year, did her NYC. She's back to the mother's house. You know what she's doing? Supplying bonds. The same bonds that paid your school fees. Supplying bonds. That means all the while you were in school, no vision. If that's what your mommy did to pay your school fees, no vision. You didn't have any extra thought in your head. What can I catch? So that once I come back, I will improve on this business or rather start something better. My mom. You should question a system that releases millions of people yearly who are sent back home, not to industries. Those days when you graduate, in the 70s, when you go to school and graduate, companies line up at your convocation arena. They line up looking for the best brains to recruit. Now that's not the factor. Nobody's looking for anybody to recruit. Machines have replaced human efforts. Technology has replaced human efforts. So the earlier you start thinking, the better for you. That's why we'll talk to you about the subject of business in this summit. And business goes beyond starting one shop somewhere. The genesis of being enterprising is looking within. How many of you are aware what I'm doing here is business? Are you aware? Pastor, he's business. Because the whole idea of business is being resourceful. It's looking within. What is buried inside of you? What are the potentials and abilities locked up inside of you? And the next question is, how can it be of service to humanity? How can this your speaking ability serve people? How can this your dancing ability serve people? How can your comedy ability serve people? How can your drawing ability, your artistic ability serve people? How can your makeup ability serve people? You're into makeup, is that right? You sit down, you do makeup arts and all. You're a makeup artist, is that correct? Did you study that in school? What did you study in school? What? Insurance. Please, does insurance still work in Nigeria? A little. To what degree? How many of you are under any insurance scheme here? We're under divine insurance scheme. Nigerians don't understand that thing. Let's leave the insurance cock and bull story. Are you under insurance? Are you under one? It was when I had an accident with my car, right, that I remembered that I should have been under an insurance scheme. Pay you which quick, if they ever pay you. Are you under an insurance scheme? How many insurance companies do you have in Nigeria? Do you have up to 20? Are you sure? No, up to 20. Do you have up to 10? They should be up to 10. Then how many staff does the average insurance company in Nigeria recruit? As a marketer. I had a guy who worked as a marketer for an insurance company. He was in this church. He came here and then sit down and talked to me about his insurance. Pastor, this insurance policy, you need to be under, you have indemnity when this one happens, that one happens. I looked at him and said, does a pastor have angels need indemnity over anything? I said, angels are keeping my life. Then I gave him a few strategies on how to penetrate. He was marketing. The guy would trek from morning till night. Tony, you know the guy in Abi? He would trek from morning till night. Then he will come back to me. Maybe one Wednesday service will just come. Pastor, this life is choking me. I'm like, Papa Sean, what do you mean by life is choking? He said, Pastor, I'm tired of this. I'm like, Timothy, go and do insurance. Every day you see, carry form. A fine guy, cute guy, carry form from one place to the other. Talking his life out. Insurance. Nobody told him to pack the papers, hand back to the company. He left town, went to Ibadan. You know what he's doing now? Chin. And guess what? He has fulfillment doing the chin better than the insurance. He has a fiancé now, soon to be married. Both of them were serving here as coppers. The fiancé she's into modeling. And the girl is not even fine. It's not like she's physically fine. Both of them are into partnership now. They are about to get married. Chin. Buns, all those stuffs, cakes, confectionaries. That's what they work on. And then they are supplying to schools, supplying to events, supplying to weddings, burials. And they are paying them and they are okay. They are okay. I taught them in one of those programs that you don't need money to start. I gave them a few secrets on how to leverage on other people's money, other people's ideas, other people's resources. And you know what they did? They went back. The guy went to the mother's house, collected the mother's kitchen, collected the mother's frying pan, borrowed oil from the mother, got some little money, bought the first floor. It was the mother's kitchen they started using, the mother's frying pan, to start that business. Today they have their own sites, they have their own materials, they have their own engines. They even have a machine now that cuts the chin for them. They don't do it with their hands again. But now they can afford any little thing they want to afford without waiting for salary. You know one thing with salary? The people paying you tell you when to afford what you want. You don't tell me when to afford what I want, my friend. So we will teach you these things and we expect you to take it out and begin to practice it. And begin to put them to use. Hear this. Your lifting is in your gifting. Before you were born, you were packaged with all the resources that would make you resourceful. You were packaged with all the resources that will make you successful. They are all inside you. All you need to do is look within and explore it. A small girl called Emanuela is already succeeding by making people laugh. A young man called Mark-Angel is already successful by just putting what he knows how to do into motion. The last time I checked, those guys are paid millions now for being invited to a program. Just that small Emanuela and that Mark-Angel of his uncle. And how did they make money without money? Just with their gifts. Phone. Just record one comedy. And they were consistent at it. Consistent at it. Consistent at it until one episode shot them to stardom. We're going to try to define business because that's what we're talking about. What is business? The meaning of business. Every one of you, you must know this, that you are a businessman and woman. That's why you were born. You were born to do business. I meet people and they say, I'm not a businessman, I'm a career man. As long as you're solving the problem, you're a businessman. You are created to solve problems. Created to solve problems. Created to solve problems. Created to solve problems. A business can be identified as an activity of making, buying, selling, or supplying things for money. So you see, you are in the activity of making, that's number one. Buying, selling, or supplying things for money. So I'm supplying something now. Are you aware? Hello? And what I get from supplying what I'm supplying is money. That is the value equivalent to what I'm supplying. We'll soon get to something a little about money, because one of the reasons we don't make money is the mindset we have about money. Our mindset about money is wrong. I'll show you that money is not the first goal of business. If you've not started thinking business, then you are thinking poverty. Hello? Can I say that again? If you've not started thinking business, you're thinking what? Poverty. You're thinking poverty. All right. A business, also known as an enterprise or firm, is an organization engaged in the trade of goods, services, or both to customers. Next slide. Next slide. Businesses are predominant in capitalist economies. Nigeria is a capitalist-driven economy. That means, okay, can I explain this for time's sake? There's what we call socialist economy. There's what we call capitalist economy. A socialist economy is an economy where the government has the sole responsibility of providing the structures, the systems, and the platforms for enterprise. It's a system or an economic system where the means of production is resident in the hands of the government or the ruling class. Hello? A capitalist economy is a system where individuals can run their own economy. Individuals can build their own systems, can build their own enterprise. I'm trying to make these definitions as simple as possible. That's a capitalist economy. So in a capitalist economy, the individual is encouraged to own his own business. In a socialist, a purely socialist, I don't think there's any country running a purely socialist economy yet. Because even in socialist countries or economies, individuals run their own enterprise. But it may not be as pronounced as what you find in a capitalist economy. In a capitalist economy, individuals can run their business, predominantly own their own means of production. They can own land, their own labor, their own capital, and all that. But in a socialist or in an ideal socialist economy, the government own all means of production. And if you don't know, you should know there are 4 means of production. Is that right? Is that right? How many? Four of them. What are they? Number 1 is what? There's land, there's capital, there's labor, there's entrepreneur. All right. Lesson for another day. Businesses are predominant in capitalist economies where most of them are privately owned. So, you see, in capitalist economy, we talk about private sector, private individuals own businesses and administer to earn profit to increase the wealth of their owners. The etymology of business relates to the state of being busy, either as an individual or society as a whole, doing commercially viable and profitable work. So in a nutshell, this is just a briefing on what business is all about. You are engaged in something that has commercial value, something that has profitable value. Okay, let's go to the next slide very quickly. Be fast, I don't have the time. Okay, let me define this also. I defined business as any legitimate venture undertaken by an individual or group of individuals with the aim of delivering services and products to customers, consumers, or buyers in order to meet their needs and in turn make profit or create wealth. This is one of the best definitions I've ever postulated about business. One of the best definitions I've ever postulated. Number 1 is defined as a legitimate venture. That means it has to be legal. Any business that is not legal is fraud. It's no business. It has to be legal. That means it must respect the laws and the rules governing a particular society. Number 2 is a legitimate venture undertaken by an individual or group of individuals with the aim of delivering services. So you must be delivering something. It can either be a service or product. We'll explain that in the next slide. To customers or consumers or buyers in order to meet their need. So that's one point you must note. Business must be solving a problem, must be meeting a need. And then it transcends into making profits or creating wealth. Is that taken? Let's go to the next slide very quickly. Okay, I've mentioned all that. The next slide. It is a necessary requirement for your business to be registered with an authorized body. In most cases, depending on the kind of business you want to run, Nigeria, is a very, it's a free market economy where everything is, you can do whatever you want to do here and get away with it. There are businesses that have lasted for years in this country and they have not been registered yet. Not so in developed nations. And these things have their own advantages too, because the system we have here encourage what you may call encourage ease in starting anything. You can start up. I know businesses that have started for years and they are not yet registered. You can start up anything with ease in this part of the world. In nations like America, to start anything, you register first. You just open a shop somewhere and give it a name. They will impound it. They will lock it down. So sometimes our lawlessness in this country too can be a fair advantage in a way. So I want to explain something here. There are some businesses anyways, in spite of the fact that you can start a business in Nigeria without necessarily considering factors like registration first. There are some other businesses that must require immediate registration. That's what I was trying to say here. I said, for instance, in Nigeria where I live, legitimate businesses are expected to be registered with such bodies as a corporate affairs. I think that's the highest registration business body you have in Nigeria. You know, and it doesn't take anything to register a business name. There are reasons why you should register your business name. We won't deal with that now anyway. Maybe in the next school we'll talk on that. National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, that's NAFDAC. If you're getting into businesses that deals with food, that deals with drugs, what people, consumables, what people eat, you know, what passes through people's mouth, I think is ideal. You register with NAFDAC. It gives your business credence and certify your product as free from hazards and health hazards. That's what I mean. All right, Standard Organization of Nigeria, SON, and so on. Find out all of this that is business registration requirement in your country before starting your business. Businesses must be established in alignment and adherence to the laid down rules or laws governing the business environment of a given social entity. So that is to buttress the fact that a business must be legitimate. Are you there? The next slide, quickly. The next slide. Can we get down? Another point indicated in the definition above is that the business can be owned by an individual or a group of individuals. Very important. You must note that a business owned by an individual is referred to as sole proprietorship business. In this situation, the business is solely owned, controlled, financed, and managed by an individual. The sole owner of the business bears all liabilities and assets incurred in the business. All right, that's a business that is solely owned by an individual. It's called a sole proprietorship business. But there's another way you can own a business. It's called partnership. The next slide. Partnership. On the other hand, a business can be owned, controlled, financed, and managed by a group of individuals. This kind of business is referred to as partnership business. This is the type Nigerians don't like doing. But this is the type that works faster. This is the truth. The type that works pretty faster. We like to be owners of our own thing. We don't like synergy. We don't like cooperation and all that. So in partnership business, look for people who have similar ideas with your own. You mustn't do the work yourself. You mustn't start the business yourself. You know, because we are greedy and because we are self-centered, we want to grasp things for ourselves, own things for our own self. We don't want to share things. So we hardly want to come together, pull resources, pull ideas, and start one thing together because of how we are in this part of the world. So we fear people will cheat us. We fear people will swindle us. And yeah, that's true, you know. So, but it still works. It still works. If you find people who are trustworthy, who are honest enough, you know, who can float your idea with you, you can do that. All right. Let's go down. Business modes. There are basically two business modes, majorly two business modes. There's the production mode and the service mode. Production deals with manufacturing, deals with the deliberate creation of products, you know, physical tangibles, tangible products. Products are goods you can handle, you know, they can be seen, they can be touched, they can be felt, just like I mentioned there. They can be carried, you know, those are products. The bottled water there is a product. They are sweets you have there is a product. Your pen is a product. Your paper is a product. Your sunshades, these are all products. All right. Let's get to the next mode, the service mode. Quickly, the service mode. This sector deals with the production and sales of intangible commodities. So you have to know which sector of business you want to find yourself in. Is it a service rendering firm you want to establish, or is it a product rendering firm you want to establish? If you get into the sales of clothes and wares, sandals, shoes, you are dealing with products, you know. And then if you get into services like, for instance, I mentioned the service of a lawyer, accountant, hairdresser, medical doctor, teacher, and so on are all examples of businesses within the service mode. I don't know if this is as easy as ABCD. Is it understandable? So you understand which mode you want to thrive in. For instance, Dangote is in manufacturing, the production mode, and he deals with commodities like cement, sugar, and all that. These are all products. Is he into any service industry now? He's not into any service industry now. Is he into anyone? Okay, he's not into anyone. A person who runs a school is into what sector? Service sector. Is into service because you're dealing with intangibles, intangibles. So you must look at that. Get back to the previous slide. Let me talk to you about mastering your business or mastering the art of business briefly. Two persons can do the same business at the same time. Their shops can even be located at the same junction or street, but they can have different results. While the other has his business working out fine for him, the other has poor sales and is at the verge of folding up. And now that tells you the location of their businesses is not the problem. The difference between these two persons is simply their levels of mastery of that business. So that you have a shop at a strategic location in town does not guarantee you will succeed in business. There are people who are in business and then they think all that it takes to succeed is just start a business. But that is not all that is to running a successful business. You cannot win in business until you master that business. So there's a point of learning. Hello, there's a point of learning. You must engage the instrumentality of learning. If you will do well in any field of business, you have to learn and master that business. That's what makes the average white guy better than the average African. Why do businesses in Nigeria not last beyond 5 years? I see businesses that's like the one we're talking about. There was a guy who started one time, just started about 3 different restaurants. Beautiful ACs and all that. Why didn't it last? It didn't take up to 6 months, the business shut down. Why? Because he thought all he needed was the money start. I tell people capital is not the first thing. What you call money capital. There are different kind of capital. One day I'll teach it in church. Other capitals that are not money. There are different capitals of business that are not necessarily money. You must know them. So the guy thought all he needed was money. As long as the money is available, start and then you make money. But he started with money and then the business has closed down. The 3 centers are all locked up now because money is not enough in starting the business. You need the necessary relevant information about that business. How does the business work? So when you think about the business, you have to also learn about the business. When you think of starting the business, you have to learn the business in order to succeed in that business. The average business in Nigeria that is not necessarily a limited liability or a PLC does not last up to 5 years. Why? Maximum 5 is gone. Most businesses cannot outlive the people who founded them. Why? Because they didn't learn the business. The next slide. Success will only respond to you at the level of your skills and mastery of that business. So friends, settle down to learn. Take out some quality time and acquire some relevant skills you will never earn until you learn. And more truthfully, you will never earn beyond the level you are willing to learn. Very important. Yearning determines learning and learning increases earning. That's the key for making that business work. Okay. Let me say this also. No business can grow beyond its owner. These are very important truths you must highlight. No business grows beyond the owner. So if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you must grow, and the pace at which you're growing is the pace to which your business will grow. All right. So if you want your business to improve yourself. If you refuse to grow, you will groan. Let's get to the next slide very fast. The purposes of business. I will soon be done. Now, whichever sector of business you choose to operate, there are general purposes for which any business exists. The primary purposes of business include, I will just identify 4 of them, but there are many. So that I want you to take this, and I did them in order of priority. You have to know these things. What is the purpose of business? If you do not know the purpose, you will abuse the purpose of business. Don't think money is the first purpose of business. The first purpose is problem solving. Problem solving. Problem solving. The speaker who spoke first yesterday said something. You must identify, talked about people, think people. When you think problem, you are thinking people. To think people is to think the problems they have. Thinking people is not thinking you. Thinking problem is not thinking you. Is it not rather unfortunate that anytime you meet a person, what he talks to you about is his problem? Can I say something very striking? If you meet a man who is constantly talking to you about his problem, you've met a failure. A poor man for life is who you've just met. Meet a man who is always talking to you about other people's problem. You've met a wealthy man. Even if he doesn't have money in his pocket now. A man who is always in the habit of talking about his problem. Every time you meet him, he's telling you how things are not working for him. Can never make money until he changes that language. Pastor, my problem is that I have problems. My problem is that my problems are too much. My problem is that I don't know when these problems will end. My problem is that your eyes are always on you. You're always thinking people, you will never be rich. What is the difference between me and other pastors? Whenever you meet me, if you're close to me, you will never hear me talk about me. Is that true? Please, can you tell them? Can you tell them one day, Pastor, we were talking and it was me I was talking to you about. My shoes said, it's no longer sizing me. Don't you think I need more shoes? My suit, I've run out of suits. Can't you see? I've run out of ties. Can't you see? I've run out of shirts. Can't you see? Have you ever heard me in that mood? Every time you are around me, what you keep hearing is, how do we help our people? Like I was talking to him about his city a few days ago. I was like, do a research for me. Find out which city in Ebonyi has the greatest deposit of mineral resources. Then I started talking about his city and some things that I just researched on and found out and all that. I was like, wow. So I said, okay, now do that research and communicate me. Every time I'm talking with you, I'm talking people. I'm thinking people. How to solve people's problem. How to solve the problems of a nation. How to solve the problem of a city. If you don't think problems, you will never create wealth. Forget it. Wealth is not for you. You are in a locality, you're not thinking about the prevailing factors or problems within that vicinity, you won't make money. That's what makes me stand out from the rest of other people in ministry. And that's why I don't need to go to government house to beg for anything. That's why all my needs are supplied according to his riches in glory. Because I'm always thinking people. This career edge was with people in mind, not me. You see the way I was expressing my passion early this morning. You won't understand it if you don't think problems. So I can stay here and keep you for the next 1 month and I'm giving you analysis of all the problems in Nigeria and also the solutions we can deploy to solve them. Why? Because I'm always in constant thought of problems, people, problems, people. How do we help coppers? How do we help undergraduates? What is going on in this system? That's why I'm a load of information. Because I'm not thinking me. I'm always thinking people. So the first key is problem solving. Problem solving is one of the purpose. The first purpose is problem solving. It is identifying a problem that you are passionate about that drives you into creating a business. So the propeller for founding a business is that you identify the problem you're passionate about solving. It could be the problem of, people are hungry around our vicinity. They don't have people to cook for them. If it becomes a burden in your heart, that becomes the first key. The first step to wealth creation. If you're always thinking money first, money, I want to have more money so I can solve my problems. I want to get more money so I can meet my needs. I want to make more money so I can have this, I can get this done, get that done. You will not make that money. People will pay you for the problems you help them solve. They won't pay you because you want to solve your problems. So when you keep thinking about solving your own problems, trust me, nobody's going to pay you because you don't know their own problems. You have to know people's problems for them to pay you. You have to know their problems and know how to solve the problem for them to pay you. People pay you for the problems you help them solve, not because you want to solve your problems. How much has a beggar been paid for begging? Everyone knows the beggar has a problem. He's blind. The beggar has a need. The beggar is hungry. They know, but yet they don't give them money. If they ever give, it's 20 naira. Isn't it obvious they have a problem? So nobody cares about your problem. They care about your problem. Help them solve their problems. And without knowing it, you will make wealth. Am I making sense? Seems like I'm not. Businesses exist primarily to solve the problems of people in society. Businesses, in other words, exist to meet the needs of people. Society is a mix of different kinds of vacuums, problems, and needs. You have to see society with this spectacle. It's a mix of problems. This thing you call society is a mix of vacuums, a mix of needs, a mix of problems. As such, businesses are essentially regarded as solution providers to the problems/needs of people. So businesses are problem solvers, solution centers. Any business that is not solving problem is not a business. Everything is created to solve a problem. My time solves a problem. My watch solves a problem. This suit solves a problem. This shoe solves a problem. My car solves a problem. Everything is designed to solve a problem. So if you're building something that is not designed to solve a problem, then you're building nothing that will work. Or you're building something that won't work. The people who have become top world millionaires today are people who saw vacuums and problems in the society that needed to be solved. They saw a need for a solution and released their mental ingenuity and ideas towards solving those needs. Imagine how miserable life would have been driving on land from Nigeria to America if the Wright brothers never saw the need for an airplane. Think of how frustrating living in a dark world would have been if Michael Faraday and Thomas Edison never saw the need for electricity. I'm pretty sure you have a lot of things to think about. Keep thinking. Okay. Let's move away from this. The next. I want to get to the next point. The next point is to please, satisfy, and keep customers. So after identifying a problem, the next thing that should be on your mind in starting a business is how to please, how to satisfy, and how to keep customers. How to please, how to satisfy, and how to keep customers. Because you're not in business without people. Hello? I want to help you get your priorities right. You're not in business without people. No people, no business. Identify the problem. Number 2, identify how to please, how to satisfy, and how to keep customers. The second purpose of a business is to create and keep a customer in a cost-effective manner. As earlier said, profits are not the first purpose of business. As a matter of fact, profits are only the result of creating and keeping a sufficient number of customers who yield a sufficient number of profits for all costs. What is the key measure of business success? Next slide. What is the key measure? The answer is customer satisfaction. Hello? Can we say that together? So the key measure of business success is that people are satisfied. Every effort and activity of your business must be aimed at satisfying customers in a manner that is better than any other competitor. So to thrive in business and to stay above edge in business, you must think of better ways continually to serve your customers in such a way that no other person can serve them. As a church, we are thinking of better ways to serve our members and our congregants in such a way no other church in the world can serve them. So it's still part of the art of thinking people. How do you serve your customers? One of the greatest skills you can master if you want to create wealth is people skills. Customer care. You must have personal policies on how you treat people. On how you treat people. Any business that does not have customer satisfaction as its core ethics will soon be out of business. So it's one of the purposes of business to satisfy, to please, and to keep customers in a way or in a manner better than any other competitor. All right. Every effort, okay, I've said that. What's the measure of customer satisfaction? We have seen the measure of business success. Now, what is the measure of customer satisfaction? How do you know that your customers are satisfied? See the answer there. Repeat business. That is the measure for customer satisfaction. So your customers feel, you know your customers are satisfied when they repeat patronage. when they repeat patronage, I served them well. That's the measure for customer satisfaction. It is only when the customers buy from you again that you demonstrate you have fulfilled the promise you made to them when you got them to purchase the first time. Go down. All successful businesses rely on repeat business, which is possible only with high levels of customer satisfaction. What now is the key to long-term profitability? What is the key to not just profitability, long-term, continuous profitability in business? If your cash flow is going to keep running, if you're going to have a steady progression, a progressional increase in your cash flow, you keep making money in your business, you keep making turnover. What is the secret to that? It is called recommendations and referrals. Because one customer has the key that opens the door to other customers. Hello? Your business cannot run on just one or two customers that you currently have. If your business is running this 2018 on 5 customers, and in 2019 your business is running on the same 5 customers, your profitability will not increase. Hello? So the key now to profitability in business is that your customers must be treated in such a way that is effective, that helps them recommend other customers to your business. So the key to a long-term profitability in business is that your customers are making recommendations of your business, are recommending your business to other people, recommending you to other people. So they braid hair. You braid hair and they come to braid their hair. When they are done, they are impressed. They are happy. Oh, thank you. Your values, your style of braiding is awesome, excellent, exceptional. And some other person in town is looking for who is going to braid her hair. And, I know one lady, when she touches your hair can never remain the same again. That's recommendation. And that's why you must develop policies that enable you treat your customers as king. The crux of customer care is making your customers feel like king. Actually, the real boss of every thriving industry are the customers. Make your customers the boss of your enterprise. Make them feel like the owners of the business. Make them feel like this business was created with them in mind. They will speak in other people into the business. Recommendations and referrals. The ultimate question that determines the long-term success or failure of your business is based on your experiences. Is based on your experience with us. Will you recommend us to others? Did you get that? I'll take it again. The ultimate question, go back. The ultimate question that determines the long-term success or failure of your business is based on your customers' experience with you. Will they recommend you to others? Very important question you must keep in your heart. The next slide. Also, okay, you can survive and thrive in business only when the majority of your customers are so happy with your products and services that they encourage their friends and associates to buy from you as well. Referral or recommendation business is the key to business success. Next slide. You require tremendous focus and discipline to develop and maintain customer service policies, CSP, that cause people to buy from you and then buy again and recommend to their friends. Please, let's go on. No time. Okay, the third purpose of business is to create jobs. The third reason for owning or starting a business is for the purpose of job creation. All these things still falls within the purview of thinking people. Job creation. Job creation. Unemployment is a menace that interrupts the socio-economic development of any nation who fails to combat it. For development to occur anywhere, people must be gainfully employed in order to earn a living. This is one sure way of combating crime and poverty in our societies. Yes, go down. Go down. Business owners and entrepreneurs must therefore see their businesses and firms as strategic institutions set up to combat the scourge of unemployment and the consequent threat it poses on nations' socio-economic advancement. Now, go to the next slide quickly. Go to the next slide. I'll explain something very soon. Keep going. Go down. Keep going. Okay, go down. I'll explain all these ones. Go down, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, go back, go back, go back. Go back. Yeah, hold it there. Now, to create jobs is a very important purpose for starting a business. No business can grow beyond the level of manpower it is able or it has capacity to assimilate. Business growth is not possible without people growth. The more your business grows to a point where it needs more hands, the more profits, the more money you can make. I give you an example using the story of Peter in the Bible. Peter was a fisherman fishing all by himself. One day he had an encounter with Jesus while he was fishing. He caught nothing that night, and Jesus appeared to him. Peter said, Master, we've toiled all night and we've caught nothing. Jesus said, okay, throw your nets into the deep for a catch. Peter threw in his nets and he caught net-breaking harvest. For the first time, Peter beckoned on his friends. Please come and help me. Let's pull these nets out together. What do you call that? Job recruitment. Employment of labor. Why? Because there's a capacity of wealth you'll not be able to pull until you get people help you. So businesses that are not thinking employment, and are not thinking job creation, can go far. The difference between you and Dangote is his staff base, not his money, because his money is an offshoot of staff base. Dangote is one man. He can't be everywhere. He has conglomerates running everywhere with different people manning it for him. He can only be at one place per time. Perhaps now he's on a vacation, you never can tell. A man who has time to attend Omotola's birthday has time. He was at the bed of Omotola. Are you aware? And he was dressed like I'm dressed, just like this. He wasn't even dressed serious-minded. At the time he was at the birthday, there were people walking in different companies. That period, he was at that birthday. My father was at the control room at Dangote Cement Company. That night or that morning, I don't know, he was at the control room reading the So I can't talk to you on why it's important to begin to think in that direction, because if you want to have time for so many things, time for the good life, time for vacations, time with your family, you need to start thinking of recruitment. And it takes a generous man to recruit. If you're not generous, you will never think of taking your business to a point where you can pay other people, where you can employ labor force. There's a way stingy people think. Stingy people think they are wise people. As long as you're the only one doing the business, they are making the money for themselves. We don't know you are losing money. So one key purpose of business is to help other people earn a living. That is to create jobs. Create jobs so some other persons can feed. If your business does not come to a point where it has a capacity to help put food on other people's table, you're not in business. It's a core purpose of business. Okay, let me see if I can take on this. For profit and wealth creation, that's even the last. The last purpose of business is to create wealth. Money or profit is the reward you get for solving problems. I actually defined money as a certificate of appreciation for a problem solved. So money is simply a certificate of appreciation for a problem solved. For a problem solved. Certificate of appreciation for a problem solved. So you see, it's not the first thing. When you have met all the conditions of there, you're obligated to make money. Money is money or profit is a reward you get for solving problems. That means that is meeting needs and satisfying your customers. Money won't come to you until you have identified a problem in the society and solved it. Look around you carefully. You'll find out that problems are all around you. On the campus where you are schooling, there are problems. The street where you're living, there are problems. The community where you're living, there are problems. The first key is identifying them and providing the solution to the problems. When you solve a problem for real, money cannot run away from you. You make money. There are 3 problems now in contemporary society. If you can solve, you will make money anyhow. Number 1, I'm giving you top secrets. Number 1, food problem. Nobody has ever said he has lived without food. It is never going to be heard in your whole life that anybody has lived without food. Food problem. Food problem. Anything people eat has money inside. Even if it's sweet, you're selling. Food problem. Number 2, clothing. Because whether you know it or not, people always wear clothes. Guys who are making money now are into fashion. Fashion. You know, celebrities' major point of attraction is what they're putting on now. Hello? Hello? Niger celebrities, Omotola them, Genevieve them. Watch them. The first thing about their celebrityhood is their appearance. I listen to them most of the times when they are interviewed. They cannot finish their interview without saying a shout out to their stylists. Is that true? I don't know why they do it. I wanted to find out why. And then, why are they always asking about their... Whenever they ask them questions, they are on set interviews, they can't finish without saying, I want to thank my stylist. She's the reason why I look like this. I'm like, I paid her so and so thousand naira or so and so hundreds of dollars to get me this outfit. I'm like, oh really? These guys must be making money. Clothing, fashion. The world has become so crazy about fashion. People are crazy about clothes now than ever. Especially if you're able to get into kiddies wear. Mega money in it. Your parents can afford to look anyhow, not his children now. Clothing. If you have a passion in that area, go and build that skill. All these secondary schools and nursery schools, the question I want to ask you is, who sews those uniforms for them? If you develop your skill in the area of fashions and design, you'll be so busy sewing sweaters and sewing school uniform for schools, and you'll be so shocked at how much you can make out of it. I know a lady in this town, her job is just to get clothes, nice clothing lines, just get some clothes. She sews for schools. Get some, pieces of clothes, package them neatly, and then she goes to school and advertises the uniforms. Do you like this type of uniform? Do you like this type? And the school select their uniforms. She doesn't sew. She takes it to her bar. And then she has a particular guy who sews for her, And then she sews the number of quantities she needs. They bring it back to, Abakaliki. She takes it to the school, and the school pay her heavily. Pay her heavily. What does it tell you? If you don't think, you lose money people who are thinking. People are thinking on a daily basis, even without practical skills. They are making money. The guy who makes my suit doesn't make the suit actually. He just comes to me with clothes. Like, Pastor, this one is a recent material. This one is a recent material. This one is a recent material. You can actually try this out. And then he collects the bill from me. At the end of the day, he takes it to Abba and meets his tailor. The guy sews it, he brings it, and I pay him so much for sewing my suits. Whether you like it or not, people are in constant quest for what to wear. The world has become fashionable. So if you can locate food business, locate fashions business, you make money out of it. Number 3, shelter. We call it real estate. Not in this school. What we are doing in this school is basic. Maybe at the advance, we'll talk about real estate a little. We'll show you the need to start thinking about acquiring landed property. You may not have a plan of building now, but we'll start talking to you about acquiring landed property, for the future. You may not know. Land is one asset that does not depreciate no matter how you try. It doesn't decay. You buy a land in a very remote environment today, give it few years time, the value of that land increases. As development moves towards certain areas of any city, the value of land in that area begins to increase. So people are in a constant quest now for shelter, housing, real estate. Anybody who is a landlord can't be complaining of money. These are the areas I'm thinking about now. These are the areas I'm thinking about. So think business. Think business. You may not build a house now, but start thinking land. God gave us this earth to dominate. Start thinking. As a student, start thinking in that direction. That area where you currently are living in, start thinking. What are people's needs? I've given you 3 major areas. If you start thinking about, in no distant time, you will create unimaginable wealth. Food business. And one person who is very particular about the food I eat, there's a particular food joint one of my barrister friends took me to sometimes. In Abakaliki here. I've never been to that place before. One place like that. It's not even too fine. If you see the kind of jeeps that park outside there, it's like, why don't these people go to Crunchies? The man laughed. He said, Crunchies when you want to toast a girl. I said, really? He said, yes, that's something. He said, Crunchies is when you want to toast a girl. But if you want to eat real food and sleep well, come here. And I saw politicians, commissioners. I said, wait, let me try this woman's food. I ordered for pounded yam and egusi. My life was never the same after that one dish. Then there's one in Enugu. I've made it the culture. Any day I enter Enugu, I must go there. And the name of the place is very funny. Ntachiosa. Oh, you know the place. You've been there with me. You've been there with me. How do you know the place? Ntachiosa, you know? Ntachiosa. How many of you have been to Ntachiosa before? I know you. If you've not been there, who else will be there? Ntachiosa. Any day I enter Enugu, if I don't go there, I didn't go to Enugu. Their stew, there's a way it tastes. Everything they oh my God. You do eat real African food. And then you go there, you see people with begging to be served. Begging to be served. People will queue up with their ATM, waiting to pay through POS. And they'll be patient. You see crowd. Like, wow. Just food. There's one at VVF here, they call her Madam Guest. She cooks just for burials, weddings, government functions, and then she cooks at the teaching hospital there. You can't go there and eat 2 plates because her first plate alone will fuel you. People who are feeding people don't get broke. Even Jesus fed people. Why are you being a big guy? Jesus multiplied bread and fishes, 5,000 of it. Fed 5,000 people. So why are you not cooking? Hello? Remove this idea of there's a white collar job, a good job you can do somewhere to make money or something. Remove that nonsense mindset. Start thinking entrepreneurship. Become innovative. Okay, get down. I want to close with the next now. Fast. Let's go. Okay, what are the indicators of business opportunities? Quickly down. How do you spot out business opportunities? How do you know that a particular business is required? Because you must be intelligent at starting a business. That everybody is doing it and is working doesn't mean if you do it will work. You must know what people need and know how to meet that need. Okay, the indicators of business opportunities simply talk about the various ways through which you can spot out opportunities in a given place and at a given time in order to make an investment. There are principally 4 ways to spot out business opportunities. Number 1, the demand for a product or service may be advertised in dailies, over radio, TV, or the internet. So you have to know what are people looking for and how do you spot them out. You must be very handy with newspapers. You must be very handy with your radio, with your TV, and with your internet. You have business opportunities popping up on your phones, almost on like my phone. Every time I open that particular whatever, I see a lot of things demanding for attention, a lot of things calling forth for people to solve, and yet people don't know about them. So use your gadgets, your radio, your TV, your internet dailies, your newspapers, and all that to spot out where people are making demands for something to be offered. I don't have all the time to read that because I want to close. Okay, the next slide. Okay, number 2. The existence of a total vacuum in the provision of a particular product or service that may be demanded in society. So look out for things that are in high demand but have no supply. All right? Have little or no supply. Look out for those areas. Can we take a few areas like that now? For instance, in a boy state, what are the things that you think people may desperately need that are not available here? Can we brainstorm a little? Can we brainstorm a little on that? Can we brainstorm a little? Cinema. We just started one in church. During the expressions, we just started one in church, and we're the first to start it. And very soon we'll put price tag to it. Cinema. Anyone who can start that has become a millionaire. We'll just started one, and we'll put a price tag to it. On the 23rd of this month, we are doing a cinema, whatever, all night here. You see what it will look like. Awesome. People love things like, what else? Can we do a few brainstorming? What else? He said, recreational centers. A good recreational center. That's why people come to Backlake and they want to run back. Because they don't have these facilities around here. And the people who have this money are not even thinking. What they are building is hotels. What else? Schools. We don't have good schools. We don't have good daycare centers. We don't have transport systems, taxis. It's only keke. So if I want to get to Enugu and catch up a flight and I don't have a car, will be tied me. Is it keke I will take and go? Peace mask cannot, it can't move when I want to move. What if I miss my flight? I need a guy who does cab business, who I can just call. Hello, where are you? Can you take me to Enugu tomorrow morning? I have a flight for 7 o'clock. And 5 a.m. is at my house to take me to Enugu. These are vacuums. Yes, what else? What? Good birthday. Bakeries. I think there are some bakeries in town. Vegas has. Very good one. They sell good bread, Roban has bakery, yes. Roban. There are bakeries here. What about things like this home care service? Like, what do you call them? These kind of services that, home service. Not necessarily Apart from old people center, there's this one that they do for children, for busy professionals. Nannies, but there's another name they call it. There's another professional name they call it. I see them a lot in Lagos and all that. People are going to work in the morning. They carry their children. Those ones who are not yet up to school age. Daycare, I think I mentioned is daycare. Daycare centers. Crèche. Most schools have it. Some schools don't have it. But you can build a crèche without necessarily having nursery, primary and all that, where you just take care of these children for their parents. And they pay you for doing that. You need to know how to study trends. There's a way Ebon is going now, Baklik is going. It's opening up. There's some young professionals who are coming into town now to start their businesses with the things opening up here now and all that. Roban Stores is here now. Funail is here now. Some people have been forced to leave other parts of the country to come take up jobs here. Young couples with young, and one of the problems most young parents have is how to combine their work with taking care of these children. That's an opportunity. It's a vacuum. Okay, now another one is clothing. Like, we hardly have good clothing. Laundry services, yes, though there are a couple of them, but they're not very proficient. We'll get to that point very soon. We're dealing with vacuum, that is the void, where we have total void. House cleaning. Yes, training centers for media personnel. We don't have all those. These are things you should look out for. You don't have like movie academy. You don't have a movie academy here. And then a lot of people in school are tilting towards entertainment now. You don't have a music school in Abakaliki. No, why are you complaining that you are still poor? No music school. When you can go online and get all the music courses and start a school, and then put these people who want to go to music school, who want to dance ballet, just get a few. Hello? There's no music school here. There's no movie academy. Radio station. Yeah, you should start one. There's no. You have just EBBC. No radio station. And only Unity FM. And they're all federal government or state. You should start one. If you know. Do you know you can start your personal radio station with your mobile phone? Yes. You don't know? You don't know? You can start your own TV station with your mobile phone. Yes, you can. Just think out of the box. And you will make money. Do you know these guys, McAngel and Co.? Do you know how much they are paid now for advertising 1 minute or few seconds? There are some firms I know in Nigeria advertising with them now on their platforms. Like Freshio. Have you watched that one? Freshio is back. Professor. Have you not watched it? He said, is that Freshio? He said, yes, sir, Professor. Freshio is back. Hey, McKinsey, I heard you have been. He said, yes, we thank God. So which God? Emmanuel, our God. He says, shut up, there's no God. Emmanuel said, let's forget that one. And just that fresh thing they did, you don't know how much they were paid. Just using their phone. We don't have those things around here. Maybe tomorrow we'd also look at some business, opportunities we can explore. So you can write them down and, appraise if they are within the purview of your passion. We'll look at that tomorrow in the service also. All right. Get down. Number 3. Get down quickly. Keep going. Number 3. The existence of a particular product or service which needs to be improved upon. So look at which area of business is currently on the ground, but is poorly offered or poorly done. I can give you some examples. Laundry. You have them in the back here, but poorly done. Very poorly done. Number 2, barbing. Poorly done. Number 3, car wash. Poorly done. Number 4, mechanic. Poorly done. I'm starting a mechanic firm now. I've written everything that it takes to start. Name is Auto Care Engineering and Services. Poorly done. Yeah. Auto Care Engineering and Services. I took a trip specifically just to go and study how people who have sense build their automobile companies. And I have the pictures here. Interesting and amazing stuffs that I came by. I don't think I can, it's quite far where I have them. That's what I do. I use my eyes constructively. This is a car shop, what you call an auto shop. Can you see? Look at what it looks like. If you see where they elevated my car to, I'll show you how they elevated my car. They use one kind of machine. See where people park their cars, waiting for them to handle it. See my car elevated. See just the tire session where they fix tires. So excellent. See, tire center. See cars parked there. If you know how much they pay, see their kind of implements, the kind of tools they use to work. See my car. See where they carried it up. You see one small button that just jacked this big car and suspended it up. The thing went as far as just because they wanted to lose something under. The guy didn't lie down under the car. He just pressed button. And one computer was just carrying the thing up. I was like, wow. So, look out for areas where a business is poorly done. That's an indicator to create wealth. If I get into this sector now, this automobile company sector, because people are complaining that their cars are poorly handled. If I get into that sector, that's money waiting for me. Because people are not paying necessarily for opening a shop. People are paying you for satisfying them. So anybody can move from one shop to another shop, not because your own looks fine, but because you satisfy this person better than the other person who is doing the same business. So look out for such businesses. If you spot a business people are doing poorly and people are complaining, I'm not satisfied with this business, I'm not satisfied with the way this guy treats us and all that, is an indicator that you can create wealth doing that business. The existence of a particular product or service which needs to be improved upon. Number 4, when there is boom in a particular line of business, that's an indicator you can start that business. Look out for businesses that are experiencing boom. Anyhow, you succeed in it. Look out for such businesses. One is ICT. There's boom in ICT now. Too much money. There's more money in ICT than oil now. Seriously. If you can develop your ICT skills, you make money. Anything technology now has money. Look out for industries like that. Number 2, school. There is boom in the educational industry now. If you start anything called school, isn't it amazing that even schools where children go to school without slippers still make money? Go to schools that don't have desks. You see people there. How much more when you that have God's mind build a school and put some level of excellence in it, you would always attract people. Whether you know it or not, birth rate, with all the people dying in the world, birth rate is still higher. There's an exponential birth rate now, globally. No matter how many people die every day, people are getting married every day now, and they're giving birth yearly. So birth is on the increase. So people need more schools that they can send their children to. If your school can increase value, if you can build a school with increased value for students or for children, people will patronize your school. Just give it one touched name. Put some little touched values in it. Anyhow you do it, people will always send their children to school. That's one area where there's a boom. Food business. People cannot be tired of eating. Have you not wondered? When Crunches started business, people flocked into Crunches. When Vegas started, people flocked into Vegas. So the presence of Crunches does not stop Vegas from coming in. Anyhow you start a food business, people will still patronize food. If you like, let there be 1 million people doing food business in the back, people will still patronize your food business. So start in that area. That's one area that is experiencing boom now. If you have skills in cooking, you have skills in baking, pastries, you have skills in that line of anything people eat, there's boom in it now, as long as you do it well. Can I give another example of an area experiencing boom now? Can we take one or two if you know one area? Do you know one area? Makeup. Any lady that doesn't have makeup now is outdated. Every lady is doing makeup now. Even if it's eye pencil, it's makeup. So go and learn makeup artists. Another one, I've mentioned clothing. Hair making. Even guys are making hair now. Yes, I see guys who braid hair. And they're making money with it. Guys braid hair now. They do manicure, pedicure. Look out for areas where, trendy areas and invest in them. You also make money. Would stop here for now and then take a few sessions of questions and then see if we can take one more course if necessary.
We believe you've been transformed by the wonders of God's Word. For additional information about us, you can visit our website at www.princetonhills.org. You can also send us a mail at info@princetonhills.org or call 0806 499 5029, 0812 511 3214. Princeton Hills Ministries, raising global leaders.